On today's movie review, we're going to talk all about Netflix's new movie. Thought I'd never say this on this channel. Girls with Balls. Can't say this without cracking up. Girls with Balls tells the story of a group of volleyball players who become stranded on the countryside. Not so bad so far, but they're actually being hunted by a sadistic, cannibalistic group of hunters. Stop me if you've probably heard something similar like this. Uh, Pretty much not original. It's only replacing sort of whatever other group with a group of volleyball girls and their coach. That's pretty much the only difference of this and any kind of other cannibalistic hunter type movie that you've probably seen before. But this is actually not what you were expecting. This is a French horror comedy. Yeah, I'm surprised myself. I've never actually seen a French horror comedy done before. This is probably the first time I've ever seen that done. Is it good? Is it bad? Maybe. Now, if you're a big fan of French horror, that's all there. All the stuff that you come to expect and love from French horror, you know, the gore, obviously, some of the head explosions, the slow mo, a lot of gushing blood shots, all that stuff is there as far as the French horror side of this. And it's all good. It's pretty much entertaining. I like some of the sadistic, cannibalistic kind of rhymes. The hunters in this movie, I like all their characters. I find them kind of a little bit more interesting than the volleyball girl group that we're supposed to be more infatuated with throughout most of this journey. And on the comedy side, where it floats on the good side and the bad side, there's a character they introduce right off the bat who's, I think, the best comedy part of this whole film. And I wish this character was in this a little bit more, or maybe narrating certain parts of this. I thought it would have been a little bit more interesting, but at least his character is actually the comedic element that I wish the rest of the movie had. Cinematography wise, it is gorgeous. The countryside looks great. There's a lot of great shots of it. You're never quite bored with what you're seeing because the film keeps moving from one location to another, whether it's, you know, the forest, or it's, you know, the countryside, or some of these sort of rundown houses they're in a little bit later in the movie. So at least that is, you know, it's a gorgeous movie to look at. All that sounds pretty good, but what is bad about Girls with Balls? You would think with a name like that, the comedic elements of it would follow. But the movie is just not funny. Pretty much the comedy in this is everything you kind of come to expect from a movie. You can pretty much call out things before they happen, such as if a character makes a big speech, obviously something's going to happen. A group of hunters spot a stream, or like a water stream. You can probably guess what they're going to do. And there's a lot of things like that where the jokes just don't hit. Never mind like the coach character, who's annoying throughout most of this movie. All he does is rant and rave.
A bunch of bitches, that's right. I'm no one's okay?
Yes, coach. I mean, coach.
Thank you.
Not interesting, not funny. The girl group that we spend the majority of the time with, not really interesting. All they do is bicker throughout most of this movie, and maybe there's some sort of scenes later on with them sort of having this girl power moment that should be funny, involving volleyball skills, but not really funny. But there is actually one particular joke that they actually had in here where a volleyball player, one of the girls, she actually decapitates one of the hunters. And typically you would expect for that hunter to just kind of flop over into the water. But for some reason, the body is still wandering around in the background like this. And it really actually got a laugh out loud moment from me. And I felt like that's what the film should have went for. It should have took comedy and just elevated it even times 10, especially given the nature of it being sort of this cannibalistic style kind of film, like a Deliverance, or, that kind of style of film that we've seen done before. They should have just took all those kind of dumb moments in that and elevated the comedy even further, like the guy, with his head chopped off wandering around, or the character that I mentioned earlier who's in the beginning of the movie. That kind of stuff took the comedic elements of this movie even further. But everything else they put in here was pretty much what you've already seen done in other comedies, or stuff that's just not funny. So on the flip side of that, the horror is there. The French horror, it's actually there. The blood, the guts, everything that you come to expect from that is good. Just the comedic element in this movie is not quite that good. In fact, I would suggest, if you want to see a better movie, watch Netflix's The Babysitter. I think that's a better horror comedy. Movies like Tucker and Dale, Zombieland, Shaun of the Dead, those all take horror and comedy and twist them in certain ways, but also elevating the comedy aspect to them. Girls with Balls didn't quite deliver. Sorry to say that. Funny title though, funny idea, but just did not hit all the marks. And I'm sorry to say that. If you want to have it on the background, I think it's that type of movie, maybe while you're doing some like editing or some, type of housework. It's more that kind of movie. It's not like you're going to sit down with popcorn and a drink and actually like enjoy the movie. So that's my thoughts and my review on the Netflix movie Girls with Balls. That's the last time I'm going to say that. If you've seen the movie, or what do you think about it? Leave it down in the comment section. Leave the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you guys for all the support. We're almost at 4,400. Can't believe it. We're on the way to 5K. So, all right, guys, that is it. And hopefully you have a great day, and peace out.